though? It's Math Guy Steve. All right, so today we're starting week 2 of our Calculus MGS Summer Camp. In week 1, we focused on limits, right? We talked about what a limit means and how to evaluate limits, one-sided limits, continuity, holes or discontinuities, vertical asymptotes. And the reason limits matter so much is because limits lead us to the next big idea in calculus, and that is derivatives. All right, so today we're not going to start with a bunch of derivative rules quite yet. We're going to start with the meaning of a derivative. Because before we start memorizing rules and everything, we need to understand what a derivative is actually telling us. So the big idea for today is the derivative tells us the slope or the rate of change at some point. That's it. Slope at some point. Rate of change at a point. And that's the foundation of what we need to go over in this derivative section. Why does slope matter anyway? So before calculus, when we talked about slope, we talked about the slope of a line, right? For example, if I had a line, then the slope told us how steep that line was. It tells me how much y changes in comparison to how much x is changing. Or in other words, our slope, we usually use the letter m, right? But we wrote that as the change in y over the change in x. Or in other words, delta y over delta x. Or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or we even said rise over run. Y'all remember that, right? So for example, if the line goes up 4 while it's moving 2 units to the right, then we'd say that slope would be 4 over 2. Or in other words, the slope is 2. That means for every 1 unit to the right, it moves up 2 units. That's slope for a line. Here's the thing. What if the graph is not a line? What if the graph is some curved graph, right? For example, what if we have f of x equals x squared, okay? And we know this graph is not a straight line, right? It's a parabola, right? It's a U-shaped looking graph. So because it's curved, then the slope is not the same everywhere. On one point of the graph, the slope might be going down, or another point, the slope might be going up. So the question is, how do we talk about the slope at one point on a curved function? That's where our derivatives come into play. So the definition of derivative is the slope of the tangent line at that point. Now what's a tangent line? Okay. So a tangent line is a line that touches the curve at one point, just one point. It taps the curve at one point and matches the direction of the curve at that point. Instead of asking for the slope of the whole curve, you ask, what is the slope of the tangent line right there at that point? And that slope is the derivative. Now, our notation for derivatives is this prime. Okay, so like here, the derivative of f of x, we would say f prime of x. It looks like an apostrophe. Okay, so if I say some function f prime of 2 equals 4, so this is saying the derivative of the f function at the x value 2 is equal to 4. That means that at x equals 2, the slope of the tangent line, is 4. Or in regular words, we'd say at x equals 2, the function is increasing at a rate of 4 units of y for every 1 unit of x. And that's the meaning. So the derivative is not just a formula, right? The derivative is telling us how fast the function is changing at that point. All right, so let's try some examples. All right, this one says we'll use the graph of a curve, right? So at x equals -1, the tangent line is falling from left to right. And so is f prime of -1 positive or negative or 0? So we see for this function, okay, this tangent at x equals -1. Got it. Okay. It says the tangent line is falling from left to right, meaning we notice this tangent line is going down, right? Again, tangent just meaning it tapped the graph at that x value -1. So is f prime of -1 positive, negative, or 0? We know that since it's falling from left to right, then f prime of -1 has to be something negative, right? Again, we see the slope of this line has to be negative because it's falling from left to right. And that's one of the main things we want to understand, right? If the function is increasing for that x value, at that x value, or around that x value, then we know the derivative would be positive. If the function is decreasing at that x value or around that x value, then the derivative will be negative. And if the function is flat at that point, the derivative will be equal to 0. Okay, meaning it's where the turning point would be. That would be where the function is flat or that tangent line is flat. So that turning point from decreasing to increasing or from increasing to decreasing. So here we got something similar. Let's use a graph, right? So at x equals 0, the tangent line is horizontal. So is f prime of 0 positive, negative, or equal to 0? So again, here's our at x equals 0. Notice that tangent line is horizontal or it's flat, right? So we know that f prime of 0, meaning the derivative of the f function at the x value 0, this has to equal 0. Okay, so again, notice it's that turning point where this function happens to go from decreasing to increasing at that x value. Or we could be from increasing to decreasing at that x value because, again, the horizontal tangent line, right? So we know the derivative has to equal 0. We have a similar thing going on here, right? So for this third one, at x equals 2, the tangent is rising from left to right. So it's f prime of 2, positive, negative, or 0. So again, we can see this tangent line is increasing. And so we know that f prime of 2, again, the derivative of the f function at the x value 2 has to be something positive, okay, meaning again that slope of that tangent line is increasing. Number 4 here says interpret this statement, right? So f prime of 3 equals 5. What does it tell us about the graph at x equals 3? Well, what that tells us is that the graph is increasing at x equals 3, and the reason we know that is because here the derivative at x equals 3 is something that is positive, and so at equals 3 the graph is increasing, or again around that value x equals 3 the graph is going up, it's increasing. Okay, a similar thing here, right? Interpret this statement, f prime of 4 equals negative 2. What does that tell us about the graph at x equals 4? Same thing, right? We'd say at x equals 4, now we know our derivative is something negative, meaning it has a negative slope of the tangent line at x equals 4, and so we'd say at x equals 4 the function is decreasing at that x value, again around that x value equals 4. And so we have to interpret something like this as well. F prime of 1 equals 0. What does it tell us about the tangent at x equals the tangent line at x equals 1? So this time they're talking about the tangent line, meaning we know the derivative equals 0 at x equals 1. So at x equals 1, we know the tangent line is horizontal. Okay, the tangent line is horizontal. Well, in other words, for that graph, that's where the graph is going from decreasing to increasing, or from increasing to decreasing. So that turning point. And we have to also consider that derivatives are also a rate of change. So let's consider this real life example. If position is measured in miles and time is measured in hours, then the derivative with respect to time is speed. Now, there's other notations for derivatives. And so, though we've been using a prime notation so far, another way of describing a derivative or noting a derivative is what we call d of d, okay? And we have to say with respect to what variable. So, if I was taking the derivative, say, with respect to x, we would say d dx, okay? This is the derivative with respect to x. In the scenario I just brought up, we're taking the derivative with respect to time, and so we would say d dt, okay? Which is, again, is saying the derivative with respect to time. In a position function, we often use the s function for position. So we'd say s is position, then we have velocity, which is v, and then a is the acceleration function. So again, if position is measured in miles and time is in hours, then s of t would be a function, a position function, and it'll be in terms of time. But now the derivative of that position function with respect to time is what we call the speed or velocity. So here d dt of s of t is the derivative with respect to time of the position function is actually the velocity function, v of t, or the speed function. Because speed tells us how fast the position is changing. Like here, say a car's position is measured in miles and time is measured in hours. Got it. What does the derivative of position with respect to time represent? It'll be the velocity or the speed. Say a car's position is changing at 60 miles per hour, right? The derivative would just be 60. That means the position is increasing at 60 miles for every 1 hour at that very moment. So when you hear derivative, think how fast is something changing? In science, that could be velocity. In business, it could be the rate at which the cost is changing. In biology, it could be a population growth, right? In economics, it could be the marginal cost or the marginal revenue. The derivative is just a rate of change. Now let's connect this to something familiar. The average rate of change is the slope between 2 points, right? For example, if I drive 120 miles in 2 hours, my average speed is just 120 divided by 2, right? And so that gives me 60 miles per hour. That doesn't mean I was going 60 miles per hour every second. Maybe I was going 45 at one moment, maybe 70 at another moment, maybe even 0 at one point. Average rate of change tells us the overall rate across an interval. But the instantaneous rate of change tells us the rate at one exact moment. And that's what the derivative gives us. So average rate of change uses 2 points. Instantaneous rate of change uses 1 point. But to get that 1 point slope, calculus uses limits. This is why we did that week 1 stuff. That's why it mattered. Limits are what allows us to zoom in closer and closer until the slope between those 2 nearby points become the slope at 1 point. So our concept checked. Okay, in your words, what is the derivative? To me, the derivative, I would say, is the slope of the tangent line at some x value. Now, how we interpret that is saying, okay, well, if that slope is negative, then we know the function is decreasing there. If that slope is positive, we know the function is increasing there. If that slope is equal to 0, then we know there's a horizontal tangent line. In other words, that's that changing point where it goes from decreasing to increasing or increasing to decreasing. So here's the big picture. In week 1, we use limits to describe what the function is approaching. Now with derivatives, we use limits to help us describe how a function is changing. A derivative is just built from slopes. We start with the slope between 2 points. Then we get those 2 points to get closer and closer and closer together. Eventually, we get the slope at 1 point. And that slope is the derivative. So if you get lost with derivative rules and stuff later, I want you to come back to that idea. The derivative is just a slope. The derivative is a rate of change. The derivative tells us what the function is doing at a specific point. That's all. All right, so again, here's our takeaway for lesson 5. Here we go. The derivative tells us the slope of a tangent line at a point. It also tells us the instantaneous rate of change. If the derivative is positive, the function is increasing. If the derivative is negative, the function is decreasing there. If the derivative equals 0, the tangent line is flat. And that's the changing point. That's it. That's it for lesson 5 of our MGS Summer Camp for Calculus. Today we start off derivatives by talking about what a derivative really means. Next lesson, we're going to compare average rate of change versus instantaneous rate of change and dig deeper in there. That'll help us to see why derivatives actually come from limits. Make sure you watch the next one, okay? As always, keep practicing. Bring your notebooks. Calculus gets a lot easier if we understand what the graph is doing. And always remember, math is everywhere. Have a good one.